When 10,000 men were asked what they secretly crave in bed but are too shy to say out loud, their answers completely shocked me. See, most women imagine men as these confident, straightforward creatures who just take what they want. We think they're all about stamina, positions, and that stereotypical Hollywood passion. But when men were given the chance to speak honestly, without judgment, their answers revealed something deeper. Here's the truth: most men are carrying around hidden desires they're dying for you to unlock. And these aren't about crazy fantasies or wild experiments. What they really crave is something far more intimate, things that make them feel wanted, desired, and connected to you. But here's the kicker: most guys will never ask for these things. Why? Because they're scared of being judged, scared of looking weak, scared that if they open up, they'll ruin the moment. So instead, they stay silent and hope you'll somehow just know. And that's where you hold all the power. Because when you understand these 5 secret cravings, you instantly gain an advantage that most women never tap into. You'll not only make him feel incredible, you'll also create a bond that makes him think, she gets me in a way no one else ever has. Imagine this: you're in bed with a man, and instead of guessing what he wants, you're confidently giving him the very things he's been secretly dreaming about. He feels desired. He feels understood. And in that moment, you're not just another partner, you're unforgettable. So today, I'm going to reveal exactly what men crave in bed but are too shy to ask for. 5 powerful truths that will flip the script on what you thought men wanted and show you what they're really yearning for when the lights go out. And trust me, once you hear this, you'll never look at intimacy the same way again. Let me start this with a little confession. Most men are absolutely starving for words in the bedroom. Now, I don't mean dirty talk in the Klitsch A-way movies show it. I mean real, genuine verbal affirmation. Think about it. Men are constantly told they need to be the performers. They're expected to know exactly what to do, how to do it, and keep the confidence of a rock star while they do it. But the truth is, even the most confident guy in the world has moments where he wonders, am I doing this right? Does she actually like this? Is she satisfied or just being polite? And here's the kicker: most men will never actually ask you those questions because to him that feels like weakness. Instead, he'll look for signs. He'll try to read your body language, your breath, your subtle reactions. But when all he gets is silence, guess what happens? He starts second guessing himself. And when he second guesses himself, he holds back. He doesn't give you his full passion because he's stuck in his head wondering if he's enough. That's why verbal affirmation is one of the biggest hidden cravings men have in bed. They want to hear you say things like, that feels amazing. Don't stop. I love it when you do that. Simple, clear words that tell him without question that he's driving you wild. Because here's the truth: men don't just want to do the act. They want to feel like they're succeeding at it. They want to know they're giving you pleasure. And when you give them that feedback, it doesn't just reassure them, it turns them on more than you can imagine. Let me put it this way: verbal affirmation is like rocket fuel to a man's confidence. If you've ever wondered why sometimes he seems hesitant or holds back, it's often because he's not sure where he stands with you. But the second you start letting him know out loud exactly how he's making you feel, it unleashes a completely different side of him. And here's the best part: it's not about being fake. Men don't want you to just put on a performance. They want authenticity. Even something as simple as whispering, "I love the way you're touching me," can make him feel 10 feet tall. So here's a little challenge for you next time you're with him. Don't hold back. Instead of staying silent, give yourself permission to express what feels good. Say it, whisper it, breathe it out in the heat of the moment. Because when you do, you'll notice something incredible. His energy will shift. He'll be more confident, more adventurous, more passionate. Why? Because you've just removed the biggest insecurity that was holding him back, the fear that he's not pleasing you. And ladies, let me tell you a secret. When a man feels certain that he's pleasing you, he will go to extraordinary lengths to keep that energy alive. He'll want to please you more, explore with you more, and connect with you more deeply. So don't underestimate the power of your words. For him, they're not just sexy, they're essential. And for you, they're the key to unlocking a man who's not only more confident in bed, but more connected to you. Because at the end of the day, men may crave a lot of things, But what they want most in that moment is to know they're enough for you. And your words have the power to make him feel exactly that. Let's flip the script for a moment. Most people assume men always want to be in charge, that they crave control, dominance, and power in the bedroom. And yes, sometimes they do. But when tens, hours, and men were asked what they secretly want, a huge number of them admitted something surprising: they want you to take the lead. Now, let me be clear, it's not that men suddenly want to give up all control and be bossed around 24/7. What they crave is those moments of gentle dominance, those little flashes of you taking charge, showing them that you desire them so much, you can't wait for them to make the first move. Why is this so powerful? Because men spend their entire lives being told they have to be the initiators. They're expected to ask for the date, plan the night, lean in for the kiss, and then, of course, lead in the bedroom. And while many guys can play that role well, the truth is they get tired of carrying that responsibility all the time. Deep down, men want to feel wanted. They want proof that you're just as hungry for them as they are for you. And when you step into that role, even for a moment, it flips a switch in his brain. Suddenly, he feels irresistible, desired, chosen, and that's a feeling he'll never forget. So what does gentle dominance look like? It doesn't have to be extreme. In fact, it's often the smallest actions that drive him wild. It's you pulling him closer for a kiss before he even has the chance to lean in. It's guiding his hands exactly where you want them. It's whispering what you want him to do instead of waiting for him to guess. It's playfully pushing him back on the bed and climbing on top, showing him you're not just along for the ride, you're in this with passion. That little moment of you taking control gives him something he doesn't get anywhere else: relief. Relief from the pressure to always lead. Relief from the constant worry that he has to know every move. And in that relief comes excitement, because he gets to just feel. Here's something important to remember. Men often won't ask for this. Why? Because society tells them they're supposed to be in control. To admit they want you to take charge feels like breaking some man rule. But if you surprise him with it, he'll melt. Think about this. Imagine him lying there, expecting to guide the moment when suddenly you take control. You kiss him harder. You tell him exactly how you want it. You make him feel like the object of your desire. His mind will be blown. And ladies, here's a bonus: when you take that role every now and then, you'll see a side of him you've never seen before. He'll be more vulnerable, more open, more connected, because for once he doesn't have to perform, he just gets to experience. Now, does this mean you need to dominate every second? Of course not. Balance is key. Men still love taking the lead most of the time. But those occasional, unexpected moments of you stepping up, that's what he secretly craves. So here's my challenge for you: surprise him. Next time, don't wait for him to initiate. Be bold. Be playful. Take control for just a little while. Because when you do, you're not just giving him a thrill, you're giving him the gift of being wanted in a way most men only dream about. And trust me, once he experiences that from you, he'll never see intimacy the same way again. When most people think about what turns men on, they think of the obvious touch, curves, or maybe some daring move in the bedroom. And yes, men are visual creatures, but here's a truth almost no one talks about. One of the most powerful, unforgettable things you can give a man is your eyes. Eye contact. That moment when you lock onto him and don't look away, it's magnetic. And for men, it's one of the deepest cravings they're often too shy to admit. Why? Because eye contact goes beyond the physical. It's not just about lust. It's about presence. It's about connection. See, for a lot of men, intimacy can become a performance. They worry about rhythm, stamina, doing it right. Their mind races: is she enjoying this? Am I going too fast? Too slow? It can feel like pressure rather than pleasure. But when you lock eyes with him in the middle of all that, time stops. His mind quiets. In that moment, you're telling him without words, I'm here with you. You matter. I feel this with you. And that, ladies, is intoxicating for men, because here's the secret. What men crave isn't just the act, it's the validation that it means something. And your eye contact is the purest form of that validation. Think about the difference between intimacy with the lights off, no connection, no exchange, versus intimacy where your eyes meet and you're not afraid to let him see into you. Which one do you think stays with him forever? Here's the thing most women don't realize: men often feel emotionally starved. They're taught not to talk about their feelings, not to show vulnerability, not to admit when they need closeness. But in the bedroom, That's the one place they secretly hope for it. And nothing creates that emotional closeness faster than your gaze. It doesn't have to be constant, intense eye contact that can feel intimidating, but those moments where you pause, look at him, smile, or even just soften your eyes in the middle of passion, that's what makes him feel like the world just disappeared and it's only the two of you. Here's an even deeper truth: eye contact is risky. It's vulnerable. When you look at him like that, you're opening yourself too. You're saying, I see you and I want you to see me. That's scary, but that's why it's so powerful, because when you give him that kind of connection, he doesn't just see you as someone he's with, he feels you as someone he's bonded to, someone who isn't just sharing a body, but sharing a moment. And ladies, let me tell you something. Once a man experiences that level of connection, you'll ruin him for anyone else. Because you're not just satisfying him physically, you're feeding his heart something he may not even realize he's starving for. So how do you do this in practice? Simple. Next time, instead of getting lost in your head about how you look or what you should do, bring yourself into the moment. When the timing feels right, meet his eyes, hold it for a few seconds longer than usual, smile, let him see the pleasure on your face, whisper something while looking right at him. That moment will burn into his memory, because eye contact isn't just about arousal, it's about intimacy, and intimacy is what makes an experience unforgettable. So remember this: men may crave the physical, but what they ache for, what they're often too afraid to admit, is the emotional bond that makes it feel real. And when you give him that through your eyes, you're not just giving him a night, you're giving him a memory that will echo in his mind for years to come. Because in the end, pleasure fades, but connection, that's what stays. Let's be honest, sometimes intimacy gets too serious. There's pressure, there are expectations. There's that invisible voice in both of your heads asking, am I doing this right? Do I look okay? Should I be trying harder? And men especially feel this weight. They've been told since forever that they have to perform like some unstoppable machine, which is why when 10,000 men admitted what they secretly crave in bed, one of the most common answers was this: playfulness, not pressure, not judgment, playfulness. See, men don't just want passion, they want freedom. Freedom to try, to explore, to be silly, to mess up, and to know that you won't laugh at them, but you'll laugh with them. That's the difference. Because here's the truth: judgment is the fastest way to kill intimacy. If he feels like you're silently critiquing him, he'll retreat into his head and hold back. But playfulness, that makes everything lighter. It takes away the pressure and reminds you both that intimacy is supposed to be fun. Think about it: when you first start dating someone, there's often that electric energy. Everything feels exciting, experimental, adventurous. But over time, things can become routine. Playfulness is what keeps that spark alive. And men crave it because it makes them feel safe. Safe to try that new idea. Safe to ask for something different. Safe to laugh if something goes wrong. Imagine this: he tries something new, and instead of looking shocked or saying, "What are you doing?" you giggle, lean in, and say, "Okay, now you've got my attention." Instantly, the mood shifts from awkward to exciting. That's the gift of playfulness. It transforms mistakes into memories. Now, playfulness doesn't have to mean wild experiments every night. It can be as simple as teasing him a little, whispering something cheeky in his ear, playfully pulling away when he leans in just to make him chase you, even laughing together when things don't go perfectly. That's what creates intimacy. Because here's the thing: men don't actually crave perfection. They crave presence. They crave connection. And nothing connects two people faster than being able to laugh together in the most vulnerable of moments. Here's a secret most women don't realize: many men hold back fantasies or playful ideas because they're terrified of being judged. They don't want to hear, "That's weird," or "Why would you want that?" What they want instead is curiosity. You don't have to say yes to everything, but you can meet it with openness. You can say, "That's interesting, tell me more." You can giggle and say, "Okay, I wasn't expecting that, but I kind of like it." That kind of response tells him he's safe, and safety makes him more confident, more generous, and more invested in you. Ladies, think of playfulness as the secret spice of intimacy. Without it, things can feel heavy, routine, or pressured. With it, you create a space where both of you can explore, enjoy, and actually have fun. And here's the best part: playfulness makes you unforgettable. Why? Because most people don't offer it. Most people stick to the script, stay serious, And forget that intimacy is supposed to feel alive when you bring laughter, teasing, and curiosity into the mix. You give him an experience that feels rare. So here's my challenge for you next time. Instead of worrying about looking perfect, let yourself play. Tease him. Try something new. Laugh if it gets awkward. Bold enough to explore. Because when you give him that freedom from judgment, freedom from pressure, you unlock the version of him that is passionate, adventurous, and completely captivated by you. And trust me, when a man feels safe to be playful with you, he won't just crave the experience. He'll crave you. At the heart of any intimate act lies something far more important than physical sensation. It's the trust you build, the respect you show, and the emotional connection you strengthen. Without this foundation, even the most passionate encounters can feel shallow. But with it, every touch becomes meaningful, every gesture becomes powerful, and intimacy turns into a language of love and security. Trust is what allows two people to let down their guard. It's what makes a woman feel safe enough to open up, to allow herself to be vulnerable, and to fully embrace the moment. When you gently touch a woman's breasts, she's not just responding to the physical contact, she's responding to the way you make her feel. Does she feel respected? Does she feel cherished? Does she feel like she's in the hands of someone who values her comfort as much as his own pleasure? If the answer is yes, the experience becomes transformative. Consent is the second pillar here. Too often, people assume they know what their partner wants or enjoys, but real intimacy comes from asking, from listening, and from paying attention to both words and body language. A simple question like, do you like this? Or is this comfortable for you? Shows care and consideration. It communicates that her voice matters, that her comfort is just as important as your desire. And when she feels that she doesn't just agree, she participates, she engages, she leans into the experience with confidence. Emotional bonding is the reward that grows from this trust and consent. Imagine this: when you touch a woman's breasts with tenderness, when you kiss her gently while holding her close, she feels more than physical pleasure. She feels seen, valued, and loved. It's not just about stimulation, it's about creating a safe space where she can let go of stress, insecurity, or self-consciousness. In that moment, the world fades away, and the only thing that matters is the bond between you. This is where intimacy transcends physicality and becomes emotional healing. For many women, the act of being touched with patience and respect can soothe past hurts, rebuild confidence, and even strengthen self-love. Think about it: a woman who feels truly desired, not just for her body, but for the essence of who she is, walks away from that moment with more confidence, more warmth, and more affection towards you. That's the power of approaching intimacy with trust and respect. It's also important to remember that trust is built slowly. You don't earn it with one grand gesture, it grows through consistency. It's in the way you respect her boundaries outside of the bedroom, the way you support her in everyday life, the way you listen when she speaks, and the way you honor her individuality. When those behaviors are part of your relationship, intimacy becomes effortless. She won't hesitate, she won't doubt, and she won't hold back, because she knows she's with someone who has her heart, her mind, and her body's best interests at heart. Ultimately, this point reminds us of a simple truth: pleasure without trust is temporary, but pleasure with trust is infinite. When you build intimacy on a foundation of respect, communication, and emotional care, even the smallest gestures like a gentle caress carry incredible depth. That's how touching a woman's breast becomes more than an act of passion. It becomes an act of love, one that strengthens your bond and deepens your connection every single time. At the beginning, we ask, why does something as simple as touching a woman's breasts carry so much meaning? After exploring each point, the answer becomes clear. It's never just about the touch. It's about presence, communication, emotional connection, sensual awakening, and above all, trust. Touching her breasts can be one of the most intimate acts, but only when it's done with care, respect, and intention. When you focus on being fully present, she feels your attention. When you listen to her responses and respect her boundaries, she feels understood. When you use this act to connect emotionally, she feels safe. When you explore with creativity and patience, she feels desired. And when everything rests on a foundation of trust and consent, she feels loved. In those moments, you're not just touching her body, you're touching her heart, her soul, and her confidence. You're creating memories that last far longer than the act itself. Because real intimacy is never about speed or routine, it's about depth, discovery, and devotion. So remember, every touch can either build connection or break it. choose to make it meaningful, choose to make it respectful, choose to make it loving, because in the end, touching her breast isn't just about arousal. It's about awakening something much deeper, a bond that strengthens with every heartbeat, every breath, and every gentle caress.